Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Desiree. If you're new here, welcome. It's been a while since I have been in front of the camera. The last video I did, I believe it was about a year ago. So it's about time to just come back and get back into it and give a life update, which is what we are doing today. Whoa, where do I begin? If you see me looking down here, it's just because I am looking at my notes that I made so I can stay on track. I'll just let you know right now, the next few videos that you're going to see is just content that I filmed months and months ago. Let's get into the video. The last time you saw me really in the more recent videos that you're about to see is when I was living in the village. So we moved to the village where Aurelian is originally from, where he was born, where he grew up. And we moved there because we didn't want to stay in the south of France anymore. So we were there for, I believe, 2 years. And this was quite the experience to me. A really big change because living in the village is very different from living outside of the village. Because I don't come from a small town, I come from Washington, D.C. So it's a place where everybody knows everybody knows everybody's business pretty much, and people have their groups, you know? So it was fine for me. You know, it was interesting, but it wasn't a place that I said, oh my god, I love it so much. I want to stay here, I never want to move. I think it was a beautiful place, but I felt kind of isolated as well. I wanted to be closer to the city, have maybe be in an in-between point where he can be, you know, in the village and I can be closer to the city, meeting new people. You know, people didn't really speak so much English there, which was fine. It helped push me to speak French, but it just wasn't a place where I felt it was my place to be, you know, which I think was natural. You know, it wasn't bad. I think it was a natural, you know, reaction to moving there. So while being there, it was right before COVID really flared up, and it was a little bit difficult finding a job. So I really did want to work, and I saw that there was an opening at this factory that was next to me, about literally 3 minutes down the street. And wow, again, what an experience. I've never worked in a factory before. And I think it was really nice because it allowed me to meet people that came from the village and around the village as well, and get to know new people on my own and not just through Aurelian and like feeling like I'm living his life or following him around everywhere. Whereas I got to meet people on my own, make my own relationships, and, you know, get to know, I guess, the village and where I lived through someone else's perspective rather than just Aurelian's. So I think that was really cool. I stayed there for almost a year. It was under an intérimaire contract, which basically means that you can be let go at any time with no notice. So that happened to me a couple of times in the beginning. In the beginning, I would say that I worked for about a week and then stopped working for a week, and I was so stressed. I was so wound up about it because I really wanted to work. And it was in a sausage factory. In a couple videos I think you'll see I mentioned, oh my god, Justin Brie do saucisson or sausages, which is what I made, Justin Brie do. You'll see it in any grocery store you go to in France. And every time I went into a grocery store and I would see it, I was like, oh my god, I did that! I was in the production of that! Like, that is so cool! But yeah, I worked there for almost a year. So I would work a week, stop for a week, work another maybe 2 weeks or so, stop. And then I asked, hey, can I work on the weekends? When you work on the weekends, you get more money. You do about, how many hours in a day? 12 hours a day you do. So it's pretty tiring. I started my day at 5 a.m. and finished at 5 p.m. with 2 breaks consisting of about 30 minutes each. So it was a lot of work. But I like working, so it was fine, and it was a different experience for me, honestly. And I worked in different areas of the factory. After about 2 or 3 times of being like let go, then I worked there consistently for, I would say, a good 9 months, which was amazing for me. And it was great because you got paid a prime, you got paid even more because this contract could end at any moment. So that's what I was doing for about a year, working in the factory. I even was asked by my manager if I wanted to take a class and a test for a forklift operator. You know, why not try something new? So I remember she made the appointment for me to go in to another external company to learn how to do this forklifting. And when I got there, everything was in French. You couldn't have it translated. You couldn't have, you couldn't use your phone to translate things. You had to pay attention and learn in French what he was saying. And the guy was going pretty fast. And this is the moment that really showed me how much I have progressed in the French language, because when I first started working at the factory, I spoke almost nothing, and then every day with my coworkers who spoke no English really pushed me outside of my bubble to speak and learn as I, went along on my job, which was amazing. So I was able to understand what he was saying for the most part. And then came the actual test on the machine, and I was just the only girl there with a bunch of these men learning how to do forklifting. And I have to say it was a bit intense. It was for 2 days, and I succeeded. I don't know how I succeeded. I don't know how I passed, but I passed. And I was happy it was over. But then, yes, I started to do forklifting at this factory. So that's pretty much where it ended for me. That was my last real post there at the factory. And then when I left, it's because I went back to America to visit my family after not being there for about 3 years, which was a really interesting and emotional trip for me, And when I came back, I just wanted something new. I knew that I needed to push myself and do more. So I had a meeting with one of my old friends that I used to work with, and talking to her just motivated me and told me, you know what, I can see more for myself. I don't just have to settle for whatever I'm doing right now. I can have more, I can be more, I can do more. And so I came back, and literally a week after coming back, I got myself a new job in a family company in Lyon, which I really, really wanted to work in Lyon. And it was a post where it was an English job, because that was one of the things that I was worried about, is going into the work, environment and being blocked by the French language. But it was in English, and I got the job like this. Now, that was absolutely amazing for me. It's one of those things where it's like you manifest it, and when it happens, you're like, I really feel guided and protected in my life. I just have to have in my mind, what do I want? Put it out there, and it will happen. And that's exactly what happened. This is where I lived when I first moved to France. And we came back here. It's an apartment that Aurelian brought, and now we are in the process of trying to sell so that we can move on from this and do other things. So this again is a temporary situation being here, but I have to say it is so much more comfortable. It is so much more breathable for me. The house that we lived in before, you can ask Aurelian, my friends who visited. It was a nice house for the moment. It was available when we needed it, and I appreciate that, but it wasn't a house that I felt that I ever made my home, or even really had the motivation to make my home, because I knew it wasn't going to be for a long time. It was right by the road. When you open the door, cars are passing right by. You have no exterior. It was just the layout, the floor plan layout wasn't very structured. It wasn't very nice or welcoming, I think. But you know what, it was, and I appreciate it for being just that. So this is so much more comfortable. I love it here. Look at my beautiful Christmas tree. I feel more at home. I feel like I'm making it more mine, even though it's temporary. It's a different situation. We have a beautiful view right by the water, a balcony. My cat can walk around, go outside, and it's everything. So while I was there in the village before my move, I did have my car broken into when I went out to the city in Lyon one night. Someone punched a hole in the glass, and unfortunately my wallet was inside of the car, and they took everything pretty much. I did luckily have my credit card, so that wasn't an issue, but they took my driver's license, they took my social security card, they took my healthcare card, everything. And I was freaking out, understandably. I filed a police report with the police, and we just had to wait. There's nothing that can really be done in that situation. Once it's gone, it's gone. And I was freaking out, especially for the driver's license, because if I don't have that, then I cannot legally drive in France. I was terrified. And keep in mind, I drove an hour to work every day from the village to Lyon. So I was not in a really good position here. Something crazy happened where one night I had a dream. This must have been maybe 2 months after the incident. I had a dream where the police pulled up and I was talking to the police officer and he handed me back my driver's license. And I woke up and I just knew that everything is going to be okay. I feel that I'm gonna get it back, even though there's no possible way of knowing that, you know? And one day, I would say a few weeks after, maybe another month or something after that dream, I got a notification on my phone and my email that a couple of my items were found. And when I went to go pick it up, when I first opened it, there was I believe it was my healthcare card that was in it, because I didn't know if my driver's license was gonna be in it. And then when I looked behind, I was like, oh my god, it just, like, I need my license, you know? My license was in there as well. What? Like, you can't even explain this. I don't know how. So that was something absolutely amazing that happened to me. My driver's license was found. And then after I said, okay, I need to change this to a French driver's license. And then I found out that I cannot, because there's states around me, Virginia, Pennsylvania, I believe even New York, like a couple states around me can definitely transfer it over to a French one without having to pay extra or do anything. But me in Washington, D.C., we don't have this agreement with France, so technically I think, and I have to verify this, I will probably have to take the French code, which I am terrified of, okay? Because it is difficult for the French and it is expensive. It's like $1,300. That's not even the issue here. It's just a difficult test. So that leads me to, you know, now I am here. You know, this is where I am in my life right now. And even though I would say that the past few years were not easy for me or for anyone really, you know, dealing with COVID and life changes and just, you know, the past few years have been difficult on all of us, I believe. I'm thankful for the little moments, you know, I'm thankful for the people that I met along the way. When I worked at the factory, I felt a little like, oh my god, here I am in this French village in the mountain, in this factory, in the sausage factory, like what, you know? I never thought that my life would lead me there, but that's okay, and I'm proud of that. And even the people that I met there, I met one woman who was closer to my mom's age, who I really felt such a strong connection to. When I was going through my most difficult moments in life or struggles, like she was really there. Oh my god, I feel I'm gonna get emotional. She was really there for me, giving me advice and reassuring me that, you know, everything's gonna be okay. And it was so wonderful because I never thought that I would be able to connect with a French person because I was so blocked in the language. And when I finally was, it was just such a weight off of my shoulder to be able to make beautiful connections with people that I never thought that I would have been able to in the most unlikely of places, you know, but that's life, you know? So I really feel fortunate about my experience. So now we look to the future. And the future is moving, hopefully getting a new job where I feel I want to see myself long term. And selling this place. And my best friend is getting married. I was asked to be her témoin, which is like a bridesmaid, I think. So I am so honored for that. I cannot wait for her wedding in the summer. And we'll see what's next. But for now, I feel so full and so thankful. Even being here, I feel my life has opened up more than when I was in the village, when I felt that isolation. I'm able to go out and see friends more and meet new people and just feel more full in my experience. And I'm so thankful for my entire journey of moving to France, being in France, you know, getting to this relationship and changing everything. Like, wow, looking back, it's amazing. It kind of scares me how much I did, you know, in my early 20s. And now I'm moving into a new decade of my life pretty soon. December 28th is my birthday, so look out for that vlog. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it to the end, you're amazing. Thank you, and I hope I can see you in my next video. Bye! Bisous, bisous.